If you suck at public speaking, you need to create videos. So hang around and I'll tell you why. So they say the greatest fear that people have, even more than death, is public speaking. Now I can relate to that. I've spoken publicly many times, and here's the key thing, is that when you speak in public, you literally have nowhere to hide. It doesn't matter whether you're in an auditorium, with a handful of people or many thousands. It can be I call it scary good. It can be a scary place to be. But here's the key thing, is that if you're motivated in life, it could be in business, it could be in your job, it could be part of a club, fishing club, knitting club, gardening club, I don't know what it is. But if anything inspires you, well, then you need to share it. So here's the key thing. When you create videos, the first most important thing is you do it in isolation. You do it before anyone knows who you are. You can press stop, which I've done a heap of times, and you can re-record again. And yeah, just pick up where you left off. And so you've got time to grow into who you are long before anyone even gets to know you and has any expectation. Secondly, is it teaches you how to order your thinking. So rather than just having a whole bunch of random thoughts, here's what works for me, and I'll probably share it with you. When I first started creating videos, I used to have essays. And so I've worked in studios before, been a cameraman, and you have a thing called a teleprompter. And so it goes down and has all the words, and literally you're just reading words as you go along. One of the issues that come with that is you're just nothing more than a glorified book reader. So, and people can sound really flat when they're doing it because they're concentrating. So here's my thing for you, and this is what works for me. If you want to talk on something, usually keep it to 2 or 3 points, max. Write, if you're going to look at something or read something, just write point 1, I'm going to talk about X, Y, Z. Point 2, this, and point 3. And they act as triggers. So when you're reading it, it's like, oh yeah, I know what this is. And you don't have to read it verbatim. It's just what comes out of your mind, and away you go. So it helps you to order your thinking. Thirdly, is that you have to know what you're talking about. So, when you're creating videos and you're doing it properly, we aren't talking about a rant. Problem things with rants is people share their opinion, but opinion's not often based on fact. So, if we had a video where there's an argument of, should you have pineapple on pizza, and this whole thing goes back and forth, that's just a rant, it's just an opinion, and no one really cares about that. It's an amusing TikTok thing. But the key thing is that if you're going to share videos, make sure you know what you're on about. You don't have to be a world expert. Could be that you have seen someone talk on something, you go, man, that's really inspiring, and you've given it a go. If you like fishing, it could be, tie your fly this way or your hook, and use this sort of bait, and you go, oh man, I did exactly that, and this is the results I had, it was awesome. Could be that you're in a gardening club. Could be that you're a car enthusiast. Whatever it is, for me, it's business and other things. So, I'm always watching what other people do. I listen to podcasts galore, and I go, oh man, that sounds really good. They share something. And then what I do is I implement one thing, I try and master it, and then I'll share it. And so now I have wisdom and experience to share because I've given it a go. And that's really good. Fourthly, is that it teaches your brain and your mouth to engage. Now, a lot of people engage their mouth without their brain. Okay, that's a rant as well. But I would say this, is that when you're creating videos and you're doing dot points along the way, you're educating your mouth and your brain to work in sync together. And it doesn't mean that sometimes you're searching for a word where you go, like that. That's okay, because some of us linguistically are much more gifted. But here's the key thing, is that you can be the most eloquent speaker in the world and bore the life out of everyone. I understand this for a fact. A lot of people who create videos and make podcasts and that, they're not the most eloquent, but the most authentic. And so, you know, you might hear someone from the southern states of America going, y'all, y'all. You know, someone from New Zealand has got their Kiwi way of saying things. And there are these little nuanced ways of saying things that you just go, man, I relate to that. You know, I don't speak that way, but I like what they're sharing because they're just fair income. And so that's the fourth thing. Fifth thing is there's a discipline that comes with it. And just think of it as exercising. What you're doing is this is the beginning, and we're doing this, and get to the end. Now, I fail at the gym. I know none of you guys will relate to this. But I go to the gym. Okay, it's 1st of January, and no one's going to relate to this. And, you know, by the 31st of January, I'm going to be built like Arnold Schwarzenegger, muscles, I'm going to be fit, and, you know, the next superstar model. That's never going to happen. And the key thing is that our expectations are never met, and we always end up with disappointment because we don't understand the process of time. We must understand that it takes time to develop what we're going to do. Sixthly, I'll say this to you, is that don't do it to become a social media influencer. Now, I don't know how they do it, but that's not me. I've created some videos that have far more depth and education in them. And, you know, I might have 10 or 20 views or less. Some of the social media influencers, they could almost burp and there's like 1 million views, and out of that they get advertising contracts and all that. Well, you know what, I'm just a guy who lives in the suburbs, and, you know, most likely you are as well. So don't try and be a social media influencer. And I'll finish it with this. Whatever you do, be authentic. Don't try and be perfect. If there's mistakes in there, or you say something, whatever it is that you do, unless it's something that needs to be bleeped out, just leave it in there. Edit the video on your phone. Doesn't mean it has to be fancy. Upload it into Facebook or to YouTube, whatever it is that you want to do. It doesn't cost anything, but understand this. It's the process. It's who you're becoming along the way as you create videos. And here's the key thing. There are things that you guys know, experiences that you have had, that when I listen to it, I go, wow, I didn't know that. And you may have nothing to do with what I do. And the key thing is there are millions, literally billions of people around the world that might pick up on a nugget that you share that could be the very thing that they are praying for, an answer that totally revolutionises their life. You know what? You'll probably never hear of it. But see, that's your contribution to the ecosystem that is life, fun and education. So I hope your 2022 is awesome. I want to see some of your videos, and yeah, get to it.